Hi everyone, so this is my story of how I went from someone with an eating disorder to being in recovery and starting a food blog. Now, I would never have imagined that I would be reviewing places to eat, where to go to eat with the family, what to eat, and just getting excited about food that looks great so I can put it on Instagram. Now, Instagram is a bit of a double-edged sword. They get a lot of bad press, and often rightly so, because it is really difficult for people like me who are constantly consuming Instagram. I love it and hate it in equal measures, and seeing all these perfect bodies can be really negative. But I do think the tide is changing, and I'm seeing actually the opposite now, where you're getting a lot of people show how confident they are, or at least they feign confidence on Instagram, and their body shape is all different shapes and sizes and whatnot. So it really has changed, and it's actually helped me, I'd say, Instagram, in terms of my eating disorder recovery, because I love food that looks aesthetically pleasing. So now I'm vegan, but that's for the right reasons, because I wanted to go plant-based. But again, Instagram makes veganism sexy again and gives you lots of ideas of different recipes to do and things to make. Now, I'm not saying I've totally recovered. I'll always have weird idiosyncrasies around food. So I'll notice if I don't go to the gym as well, that really makes me anxious, because I know how good it feels to go to the gym and how much better I feel and stronger I am. So I'd say I'm 75% happy with my body, but there's definitely that 25% which really isn't happy. But that said, I used to be totally consumed by my eating disorder. I've suffered at different points in my life anorexia, bulimia, body dysmorphia, especially around my face. So life is definitely a journey. I'm not sure full recovery is possible. I know that sounds pessimistic, but I like to be realistic on myself as well. But I am most of the way there, and I just started slowly. So it helped that I married a chef, because his love of food did rub off on me. And now the father of my children, who loves food. But for me, I really struggled in the early days experimenting with different food groups. But I think that love of food really did rub off. And then now, because we're in an Instagram-friendly society, and I even run a cafe, may I add, as one of my other businesses. So I'm constantly looking at what looks good, rather than thinking that's got that amount of fat, that's got that amount of carbs. And I'm more thinking about what looks visually pleasing and tastes good. Yes, Harry? So that's another thing for me, having children, that has really helped, because I've been really careful what I say and do around food, and not cutting out certain food groups, because they pick up on it so quickly. If I try and avoid something, they notice. So even when they have a fake cafe and they're plain play cafes, they ask what your dietary requirement is now, and whether you're vegan, and whether you cut out carbs at a certain time. And so whilst that's quite funny, at the same time it's also quite worrying how much they pick up on people and what they say around food, and YouTubers, and even some of the healthy living campaigns I really struggle with, because it's all about counting calories. This is your 100-calorie snack. I'll show you this photo that I took the other day of some of the samples of 100-calorie snacks, and it was all processed food. So I think we're kind of in a really weird changing world, where people are fighting against this perfection, but at the same time we've got so many confusing messages. So I do think it's really hard growing up today. But for me anyway, the online world has really helped. I used Facebook groups during my recovery. I use my vlog to share my honest journey with you all, and also my blog to write what I'm feeling, especially at trigger times like Christmas, where it's all about food. That really does still trigger me. So I still have to be careful, or at Easter time, it's all about chocolate again, and it's still just being honest about that journey, but knowing that others are going along it with me, and that we're all not perfect, and we've all got our weird things in our life that we do to kind of control aspects of our life. But the problem with eating disorders is we think we can control it, but in the end it's controlling you. But now I'm really pleased that I'm able to blog on my Blog Up North site and my Yorkshire family sites about where to go, where to eat with the family. And yeah, if you'd told me 10 years ago that I would be blogging about food and running a cafe, I would have laughed in your face, or probably just cried in a corner, because the thought of ever having to fully face on deal with food would have been really difficult. But now I'm managing it, so it's really nice. So I hope that offers a little bit of hope to you on your recovery, or someone that you love too. I think eating disorders are very similar to other addictions, but the problem is with eating disorders is at some point we have to eat and consume calories. We can't just avoid it. So we can't avoid like a pub. If you're avoiding alcohol, for example, you have to be able to learn to eat. And I think that's what's really difficult with it. Anyway, that's all from me today. Hope that's been useful and a little bit inspiring. You can catch me on Instagram at Mama May Blog, and Evoke Media Group at Evoke Media Group. Funny that, on Instagram. Peace, love and shimmies.